And also,
What happened?
did you hear that? Brother late at. Shit, I'm sorry. Leah, please cut some of these things so I don't look so crazy. Okay. Love you, girl.
Noted. Hi guys, welcome back. We're so excited today because we have a little bit of a lighter topic. I know last week we went really heavy with like the mirroring, and it could have been a little triggering with the little skits that we did there. So today is going to be all about, now you know those patterns, you can recognize those. How do you move forward from there? How do you course correct, and how do you continue to improve yourself and your own frequency? So today we're going to be going a little bit more into awareness. And you know, this kind of happens in stages as well. Christine talked about like a baseline almost.
Yes.
And as you like continue to go, I feel like that baseline changes as well.
Right. So I like to think of it as a subscription that you subscribe to. It's a frequency. It is the floor that you always go back to, the ground, the baseline, the foundation. And that is, let's say, that can be from a place of ego, or that can be from a place of liberation and free of control and loving, and from a place of compassion as well, right? So it's always like, you can be, let's say, woke, but how are you using that, and what baseline are you subscribing to? So that's going to be really important with how much light and love and shadows you're allowed to kind of hold within your being. That is basically, I guess, at your capacity, that you're able to work with and transmute and alchemize until you're ready to kind of break that barrier and extend more. And however long you're at. Damn, today it's the communication feels weird, yeah?
Yes, it does. I've been stumbling on my words all day.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's all right. We go with the flows, not against, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that we're going to talk about what baseline that you're resonated at. Also,
What happened?
did you hear that? Brother late at. Shit, I'm sorry. Leah, please cut some of these things so I don't look so crazy. Okay. Love you, girl.
Noted.
Because what the fuck? Okay, it's okay. Guys, I just took out my birth control that I've had in my arm for 6 years yesterday. So, you know, I'm feeling it.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But anyways, what I was trying to say is that you can kind of tell what baseline someone's at based on the type of language they use, the tone that they use, because you have a choice on which words you want to use. Like, let's be real. You kind of give up your plan and your intentions through the language that you speak and communicate. And people can feel that. People can sense your true intentions, you know? So.
I'm sorry, Gaia's rubbing against the tripod.
Gaia!
Come here, kitty. You can kind of tell too, like you might meet some people that seem like they really subscribe to that, like, I am spiritual.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can get in those like levels of meditation and have those downloads and stuff, and still, if you don't like integrate it with your life, if you don't show through your words and your actions, your awareness, you're always going to stay at that lower level too. I've noticed.
Right,
yeah.
right. And I just want to say, like, when we say lower level, it doesn't mean like, oh, we're better than you or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're talking in the means of energy and frequency, where you're residing at and vibrating at.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear, because there could be people that are like, oh, lower level, you know, and get triggered.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But I get it. So we will also be aware of the type of language we use, because we live in that society as of now where people can be sensitive to it. I mean, let's be real, let's say it, you know, it's okay. I get it. I could be sensitive too based on how people talk to me. But it's about understanding the greater reason for why somebody may use that type of language. So that can kind of go back to like the baseline of understanding where people are at, so we don't compare, we don't get affected by how somebody reacts to us, but we are still human. So it's a balancing act. It's not just this or that.
Yeah, and I will say too, like, as you continue on your path and your baseline changes, you'll start to notice other people, and it's where that, like, the grace comes in again, where you can kind of see, like, they're putting in the effort, and you know, it's kind of like, oh man, they're just not there yet, you know?
Yeah. And it's not saying, again, like, oh, we're better than you.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not that. But it's almost like when you are analyzing a child, as let's say you're in a teacher role and you're analyzing a child and you know where they're at, you know their limits. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
From a place of love, like from the most unconditional, you know, place of love is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's not about like, oh, better than you. None of that. So we got to make sure like we scratch that when we on this podcast. That is not our baseline.
No. There should be, I don't think there's any time where you should have that like superiority over somebody else for whatever reason, because
absolutely,
the more like you do this type of work, you realize we're all one. We all have our problems and stuff, and just because you've worked through things, maybe somebody's struggling and that's why they do come off a certain type of way, and like it's okay to have your feelings about it as well, but like also, you know, sympathy works both ways there. Yeah.
This is not something we have planned, but I really feel called to speak about it because it has been on my spirit earlier today too. I just noticed while I was watching a lot of reality TV, a lot of people tend to, if somebody were to act out of emotions, let's say very dramatic, a lot of times the people in the group will look very negatively on that person for reacting. And I just found it very interesting because these people that were having outbursts weren't people that had outbursts in the past. There was something that continually made them have the tension grow, which is why they exploded or why they felt like they weren't being heard, so they yelled or something like that. So when I observed the people in the group being like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with them? I was like, whoa, because if I saw that in someone, I would immediately think, what's going on? Why are they acting out of character? Something must have happened. Let's listen even more with our heart open, because a person clearly is distressed and acting out for a reason. It's not for nothing. And even if that reason may seem shallow, there's a deeper purpose for why they're doing that. And it's about being aware, conscious beings, heart-centered beings, that we can see that, kind of like diagnose that in a sense, right? Be like, okay, this is what's happening, and coming in with the right tools, all from the baseline of love, unconditional love and divine truth, right? So like, I thought that was really interesting. And when I asked my boyfriend, he, not to put him on blast, but like he's it's not that, it's just because I found it really interesting because I witnessed right in front of my eyes his perspective shift when I said this, because he also was like, oh yeah, like that was like ick, like that's so distasteful, which yes, it can be. However, when I asked him like, what if that person was speaking the truth and there was something truly wrong and he was bringing it to the attention of the community, and it may seem crazy because people aren't listening to him, but wouldn't you want at least one person to be like, wait a minute, let's really hear what they're saying instead of just ostracizing this person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when I said that, he was like, well, I would want them to do that. And I'm like, exactly. So why are we seeing these people as so separate from us?
Yeah.
They're human just like us. They go through the same emotions, the same reflexes, triggers, you know, within the varying degrees. So like what I'm trying to say with that story is about the baseline, the foundation. They were acting from a place of ego, from the 3D material world, which is all about control, possession, you versus I, not we. When we start moving to the heart-centered of 4D, we start thinking in the space of more unconditional love, accepting one another and our faults, and understanding that we're human. We make mistakes and we're here to grow and evolve, and nobody's perfect. And you trying to, okay, somebody needs to hear this. You trying to pretend like something doesn't bother you emotionally. You trying to act like, oh, I'm all, you know, calm, cool, collected, stoic. but you're actually not within, like, that's not cool. You're not being authentic, you're not being genuine, and people can feel that shit. So I don't know who's listening to it, but needs to hear it with love.
Yes.
With love.
Always with love.
Because I've been there too.
Yes.
I've done that shit too, which
That's
is
why we're able to talk about this, though, because we've been there, we've lived through it, and we're still living through it. I mean, we still learn things every day.
No,
so.
yeah, literally. And yeah, I mean, I don't know why that just came through, but I needed to say it.
Yes.
Because it's true, and we're human, and if other people do the same shit, it's like, dude, that was maybe, you know, you could have worded it better, but I still fuck with you. I see what you mean. You know, blessings.
You know, there's also
like,
that thing, it says it takes 8 minutes, just 8 minutes, for somebody to feel heard and, like, listened to. So if somebody is having a very, like, explosive or reactive or maybe unsavory to you outburst, that could also be, like, what does 8 minutes take? Like, it's really nothing in the grand scheme of things. So if you, for 8 minutes, talk to this person, like, just having them be heard is mostly what a lot of them
need.
what a lot of them need, yeah, especially in, like, reality TV and stuff.
Yeah,
and I know, like, some of that is, like, planted, but, like,
yeah,
I think doing things from the heart space,
exactly.
give other people the time. I know there should be an equal exchange of energy with relationships, but, like, guys, you want people to stick your neck out for you, you need to do the same for other people too.
Right.
So
it's not about being perfect.
Yeah.
Like, understanding that we are people. Like, guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe this is like a sore topic for me, because, like, I feel like people always expected me to be perfect, and anytime I made one little mistake, just one, you know, I do 9 out of 10 perfect. Above and beyond, but that one thing, and then, oh my gosh, I am the fucking devil. I am the worst person to walk this planet. I am. Can you hear what Christine did? Oh my god, y'all bitches fucking did that the other week. What the heck? Okay, I'm getting there.
That's how we know, like, this episode's really going, though, is when Christine starts to get activated.
I know. Today, honestly, I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about this stuff today, because I don't know. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the collective needs some realness, for real.
We're in Aries season right now, too, so it's going to be a little spitfiery.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Because I've just been like, I'm going to say what I'm saying. I said it.
Yes.
I said it. Come at me.
And sometimes you got to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my Mercury is in Sagittarius, so I feel like I told you, I've been holding back on, like, just trying to be nice or, like, kind or more like, palatable for certain people. Because I know I have the ability to say things super blunt, and it could come off very cold, but it comes from a place of love, because why entertain that shit? Why entertain it? I mean, like, let's focus on the good. You know, I mean, and the bad too, because we need to have a balance. But you know what I mean? We always have a choice. We always have a choice on what we want to focus on in that moment. That doesn't mean we push aside and ignore. That means we alchemize, bring in, and make one, basically.
Yeah. Well, this even goes back to the whole baseline thing, because, like, sometimes you need to say things and just let it out there and see how the other people take it. Yeah. And that could be a really good indicator of their baseline. So, you know, you should never analyze your behaviors, but you should never feel like if you express something the way you intended to express it and it was from your heart and everything, like, and if they take it a certain type of way, you shouldn't feel guilt or shame for the way that you communicated that, because that just shows you that they're at a lower level of understanding.
Maybe we can change that word instead of lower.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel
I don't
right.
like that,
Yeah.
Every time I say it, I feel kind of like...
You can just say their perspective range.
Yeah.
You know, the perspective range is... I don't want to say
maybe I feel like they just can't understand because they don't...
I wouldn't say can't either. It's not that they can't. It's just...
If they're not in touch with their own system.
There's some layers that first need to be worked through in order to get to the pure essence of the person.
Yeah.
And that can take time and come through many different ways and show up in many different ways. So yeah. But I like that. This is a good example, right, guys? See, the feeling of it is different. This is like the same thing as saying, like, good morning and grand rising.
Ooh, I like that.
Because good morning is called a homophobe, I believe, which is words that have the same sound when you say it, but it has different spelling and meaning. So when I say good morning, what is a morning? You're mourning what? A death? Awake? I woke up. I wake. Did you wake up this morning? You know what I mean? The English language is filled with all this like damnations and stuff. You know, cursing and spell casting, television, telling you a vision, a bunch of that stuff. So Grand Rising is a lot more positive in its essence. And when you hear Grand Rising, it just sounds like I feel like I can breathe, you know, compared to good morning. I mean, I could say Grand Rising, but still, it just still sounds better.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. I think so once you find out somebody's like baseline, right? I feel like the next step from there, well, maybe not next step, but like there's also just like another foundational belief, I think, is you got to look at everything as a lesson. Like even like the hard shit that should not happen to you, that you didn't deserve for it to happen to you, even those moments are like learning moments. And I remember what I was going to bring up this time too. I know a while back, I don't know what episode this was, but I said I had like a fun little activity.
Okay.
Didn't bring any of the materials with me. So, but it has to do with resentment.
Okay.
So a lot of people, when they go through negative experiences, they'll kind of like hold on to it, and that there's a weight that's associated with it. So there's this activity, actually, every resentment that you have, write down that person's name or that situation, if it's not a person, write it down and then count them up. And for every person or situation that you have, take a potato and put it in a bag. No, literally. Take a potato, put it in a bag, and then you have to carry that bag on your back all day long. And you'll notice, like, if you only have like a few names, like, it's still maybe a little inconvenient to carry like a few potatoes around. When I did this activity, I had like 20 things written down. So I had like a whole sack of potatoes I carried all day.
Crazy.
And like at first it was like, okay, a sack of potatoes kind of annoying. But when you're carrying it all day, you feel that weight. And then destroy the potatoes afterwards to get that energy away from you. But
yeah, that's a great one.
That really shifted me into like taking everything as a lesson, I think, because I was holding on to a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I think that was really like, there's no need to hold on to this. Like, let the past be in the past.
That's a great activity. That reminds me of like people would do rocks and they go hiking, and then they would like destroy it at the end. Anything where you can like double up the senses is very beneficial. So if you are, like that's like a physical weight, and then you're removing that weight, that's like a physical difference that you can feel while having the intention of releasing that which does not serve you and cutting those cords. That really heightens to the experience. So if you want to bundle up your senses or stack them, that's very helpful. If you need more of that stimulation, because some people do. They need more of that. They can't just like drop and like, be in it,
Yes,
maybe they need a little bit of visualization plus music plus acting it out, so.
Yeah, everyone's practice is kind of tailored to themselves. And I know it can change on a daily basis even.
Oh yeah.
Like there's some days where I feel super connected. I'm able to drop in. Like I am there. I feel on point. And then there's days kind of like today almost, I feel kind of sluggish and kind of slow. And like for those days too, I think even taking like activity by activity and trying to learn a lesson from it. So like this morning I was really sluggish. I like did not want to get up, did not want to put my face together, didn't want to do all like the preparation for the day really. But instead of like leaning into that, like, I don't want to do this, I was like, well, what's this trying to teach me? Like this dread that I'm feeling. And it was really just like inactivity, like stagnant energy that was just building up. And I needed to do something like kind of fun and quirky to like get rid of it. So I ended up playing with my dogs.
That makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense because some people also, like, if you're a generator, if you know anything about human design, generators tend to need to use up their energy storages every day and they reset. So if that builds up and you're not using it in proper outlets, it can feel like sluggish. You can feel out of character, like you don't know what's going on, like you feel like, just not grounded. So yeah, that can happen. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think too, like, it wasn't really like a daily sort of practice for me, at least at first too. Like, these changes, guys, you could slowly integrate it into your lives.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I did a lot of past work, so I would look back on different scenarios and stuff and try to make myself feel better about it so I can move forward. So if that takes a lot of integration in and of itself.
Yeah. It can take years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to do things at your own pace.
For real.
But if you do want to, like, transition into a daily sort of practice, it's kind of like, even that, like, can change. I feel like I'm talking in circles right now.
It's okay. Just whatever coming
like,
through
I
the
know
channel.
there's, like, a point that I keep, like, I just don't know how to vocalize it right now. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, like, every day can be a little different, but it's about what actions you choose to put into yourself, your growth, how much energy storage you have for that, and yeah, just navigating how things come up for you. And I think too, it's really important to be impartial.
What does that mean?
Trying to, like, not take any sort of, like, no expectation, no stance on things that happen. Like, it's really hard when you are really tied to your emotions, and you should have an emotional response to things. But the more you detach yourself and try to look at it from, like, a logical standpoint, the easier it is to kind of find those lessons too. Because I know, like, when it's something heavily emotional, I'm like, all this taught me was pain. And sometimes that is a lesson, girl.
Right?
Sometimes it is, but, like, if you disconnect from your emotions of it and look at it like, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened, and you don't go into how it made you feel, then you could kind of see, oh, well, logically, like, I
see what you mean.
Yeah, it helps you kind of reframe it.
I guess I am such a feeler, too, when it comes to emotions.
Yeah.
So I say sit in it, swim in it.
Yes.
Sink in it, drown in it. But then come back up, at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like,
sure.
I don't know. Some people like to, like, be in it, Like, when I was in college, sad boy hours was, like, a total thing where people would just get sad at night, listen to sad music, and then just talk about their feelings and stuff. Or, like, go to raves and, like, cry at the, Millennium or some shit, right? It happens. I love that. But being able to know when to fish yourself out, that is the balance as well. So some people are very logical in general, and that helps them, which is good because we need a balance of that. But if you're also an emotional person, don't beat yourself up being emotional.
Yes.
Because I feel like you're meant to be emotional. Some people are just meant to, and you're meant to cry so we can release tears and alchemize, So it's like, embrace that, I say.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been just crying. And I've been embracing it. And it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly. I feel like it's magic. It's magical tears. So, like, I be careful. Like, whenever they drop, I'm like, all right, let's go outside and drop them. Or, like, let's drop them on something. Sometimes I'll drop them on my mans. And I'm like, all right, this needs to grow. It's like fertilized water.
Yes.
But it's not just water. It's literal, like, how do I describe it? Not portals. They're like little balls of compacted potential energy.
Yeah, dude. That's exactly what tears feel like.
Tears? Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Potential energy.
Yeah.
And it's like whatever you make of it. And also the structure of tears, when you cry, what you were thinking about, if you crystallize that and look under a microscope, it looks different.
Yeah, dude.
That's so cool.
I literally, just you saying that just made me think of this, and now I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
I saw, like, water will change its structure based on, like, what it's around or what's it's held in.
That's true.
And I literally saw this thing where they had it in like the sacred geometry cups and stuff, and like the water was more structured, like the bonds and everything. And then I saw it in like just kind of like a empty container with some negative words on it of like the devil or like skeletons or whatever it was. And that water was like severely like unstructured as well.
Yeah, isn't that
so
cool?
like everything is like alive.
Dude, literally everything is. Everything has light energy in it. If it's here, if we can see it, it's here. I mean, it's here. Yeah, that's what I mean. You guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy. I don't know. The downloads lately have been like, I don't know how you feel, girl. I feel I'm in it.
No,
I just feel like
I'm right there with you. It's been day by day, sometimes hour by hour. I'm like, what just happened?
Right? Yeah, it's been intense, and the sleeps have just not been very good either.
Yeah.
So,
going off of that though, increasing your self-talk. I feel like this is something, especially right now, like when you start to go into it, you need to start talking to yourself more and checking in. Kind of learning that discernment, opening your third eye. Like I feel like that all goes hand in hand.
Right.
And especially right now for me, I feel like everything that I like have done so far to this point is kind of getting questioned, because now I feel like I'm on the opposite spectrum of sometimes I overthink or my self-talk is too much.
right.
Yeah. Then that, I feel like that happens a lot with lots of energy shifts going around, because you start to question things differently.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. You're just making me think
Yeah.
about certain things. Yeah. Yes. Like, my brain. Well, for me, like, self-talk, it is always, like, an ongoing thing. But the second it gets, like, overthinking, it does change. Like, it's different. It's not as calm, cool, collected. Which generally it is. There was something that you said that I wanted to talk about, but I totally forgot it, so maybe it'll come back.
I feel like that's gonna be us.
I think it's also the weather outside, guys. It's really gloomy, and I'm just it just feels like...
Yeah. I feel I'm okay. This is a whole other thing we're going into now.
Yeah, today's episode is just a bunch of things.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's better when we do it this way anyways.
Yeah, we love it.
But I feel like the more spiritual I get super in touch with what's going on outside. So like the seasons, the weather, like, so whenever it's really cloudy, I feel like I'm not all there in my head.
Yeah. It feels like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, where's the sun, please?
Yeah, our weather's been super bipolar.
Yeah.
So we've had those few moments of like gleam and hope, and now it's sad and gloomy.
Like it might, before the sun goes down, get back to sunny again. Because that's been the pattern, kind of.
Yeah.
Opening the third eye, I just feel like that just naturally kind of happens with the intention of wanting to see divine truth. So there's nothing that you really have to do. Like, but if you want, you could do guided meditations to focus on opening those chakras. But I would say that it's important that your chakras are aligned first before opening like this one, but then these aren't aligned. You know what I mean? Because that can cause you to go into spiritual psychosis and also have a more difficulty with seeing clearly because it's not in alignment. So we want to make sure that they're cleared, balanced, grounded, so that it's a healthy.
Yeah, that was my mistake. When I first started in high school doing like meditations and stuff, I started with the chakra system, guys. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, I'm gonna connect to this one today, and tomorrow I'm gonna connect to that one. So that, like, you learn a lot from it, but if you wanna, I don't want to say like avoid those harder lessons, but like, there's certain things you can avoid. I would recommend avoiding that lesson, because like, you don't get messages of truth, of light, of love.
Yeah,
or you get like pieces that like
fragments.
Yeah, fragments. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Fragments. That's why, like, you can have, like, let's say one person who gets a very clear vision and channel, but the other person gets bits and pieces, and the message is more geared toward fear or something, or worry. So that's why we want to make sure that we have 1, 2, 3 in order before we go to 7, 1, 5.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
Yeah.
So.
But once you do start opening your third eye, this also helps with, I guess, changing that perspective, looking at everything as a lesson. Because once you open your third eye, it's your intuition. It's you see, your gut knows, you start to see. So I feel like that almost like kind of starts to catapult like the understanding aspect.
What do you mean by see? Some people might think like, oh, you're literally seeing things like manifest.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, sometimes you do. Sometimes you could see things in your mind's eye. So if you close your eyes and you have like an imagination, you can get intuitive downloads. Intuitive downloads that way. So you can like sometimes see things. I know just from me and my like specialties, I usually don't see things. It's more of like a gut feeling. Like if I start to think about a situation or a person or something, I'll start to feel, I guess like, I always kind of like, I ask myself questions too. So I'll ask like, what was this? Is this person sounding good or bad? What does good feel like? What does bad feel like?
Yeah.
You know, use your body as like a pendulum almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your body will always tell you before your mind comes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Seeing can also literally be like you see a situation play out between so-and-so, family members, friends, and then you're like, whoa, I see what's going on here. That's also like a third eye opening. So it doesn't always have to be imagination, yet a lot of it is, but also it could be like, oh my gosh, I just feel like got windshield wipers, and all of a sudden I'm just like blown this clarity that it's like, holy shit, I see exactly what's happening.
Yes.
So that's kind of like a way that it will manifest, or a way that you can recognize it in your daily life.
Yeah. And every time it could be different too. Like I know we've talked about this in the past too, every single time after we film, whatever the topic was for the video, we both like see it show up in our lives. So there was some incidences after our last video where people were like, literally our skit just replayed in real life, and I was like, no way. Like,
it was interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny like that though. Spirit got jokes, you know?
It really does. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I was like, oh, I see what's happening here.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna ace this shit.
And you see it with your clients a lot too. We were just saying, like, usually when you have clients, they get kind of like the same message comes through for all of them that are booked in the same day.
The same day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, literally. Oh my god, when your mom was here, she pulled a card, and I had another friend. She's a Libra, right? Your mom. I had another friend. She's a Libra. She pulled the same exact card. And the thing that's crazy was when your mom said something that stuck with me. And it was something about just a way, it was like a way that like very Libra thinking. And so my friend, she said the same thing that reminded me of your mom. And then I'm like, hey, like, let's go pull a card. And I already knew what card, where it was, because when your mom gave it to me, I put it back. And she went for that, and I was like, no way. I was like, no way, no way, no way. And then she pulls it, and it's the same card. And I'm like, already, like, the book's open to the page because I already knew what page it was. So crazy. Yeah, it could be like that. So that is the theme. So today, I had a girl. You guys had the same theme.
Same thing.
No, same theme.
Theme. Oh, yeah, like the black and white duality.
Yes. The duality theme. So immediately I was like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, I love that.
So with connecting with your third eye too, you could start to see more like deja vu or dream recalls and stuff like that too. And you think like, a lot of people like have those moments, and they, you know, obviously you're kind of like, or like that was kind of weird. But those too have messages in them.
Oh,
like if you really like, they're actually really relevant to what's going on. So if you like, especially if you listen to like what was just happening or what you were just thinking, what you were listening to if you're driving. This happens a lot when I drive. When I'm driving, if I pass by something, I feel like when I'm really connected to my third eye and I'm getting these downloads, I'll start to get recalls or like deja vu of things. And that's always like a sign to me to dig a little bit deeper
Right.
into it, whatever was going on at the time. Yeah.
Right. For me, that the sign thing could be tricky sometimes. Like in the moment, I'm like, what was I thinking? And then I'm like, what is the connection? And honestly, I'd be like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. It comes later, you know? But for me, something that I really was very profound for my third eye awakening was being able to see people's true intentions.
Oh my God.
Being able to know and feel their true intentions, regardless of what they're showing me and what they're saying. That shit, no matter how small or big that they were hiding, masking, whatever. So it was almost like I was seeing straight through them.
Yeah.
And they would be like, no, you know? But then I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, and then it's like we look at each other and it's like, they know that I know.
Yes,
and it's like this unspoken thing, and we're just looking at each other and they're still denying it. That was huge for me. Huge. One of the biggest. So, but that was very difficult because in the beginning I was like getting gaslit or almost gaslighting myself. Or, you know, because it's hard to prove. Really hard to prove. But that's why I'm bringing it up, because it can come up that way. You can start to feel like, why are people all of a sudden against me? Or like they're lying or they're hiding something. And that could be your third eye opening. And you're perceiving a different bandwidth of frequency, a different detail of the frequency. Yeah, so things like that.
Yeah.
It could be so micro, but if you're fine-tuned to that, you can feel it. Sometimes you don't know what it is.
Yeah, sometimes, like, a lot of times for me, too, like, I don't know. Like, I feel it, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I'm way less active than you are. So when I do talk with spirits, I'll get some activations and stuff. But a lot of times it's just like a feeling, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get a feeling and I'm like, don't like that. And I can, like, logically, I can kind of map where that's coming from. So,
And that's your knowing.
Yes.
That's through, and if that's the strongest channel for you, then that is like your baseline almost, you know? So that's the backbone, I'd say. So that's pretty cool too, yeah. Because the clear knowing part, that clear cognizance, that could be difficult too. So it's about training all the different micro layers that you have of psychic awareness and senses, and utilizing the ones that you know are your strong points.
Yes.
And leaning into those, and then start to fine tune the other ones.
Yeah.
And then you're a unique model almost, you know, a unique powerhouse. And so I think that's really cool.
I think it's also important to mention, too, you could always ask Spirit to show you clarification.
Oh, yeah.
So I know, like, when I am being more active and I'm looking for signs and I ask for a sign, I usually use, like, the rule of 3, because 3 is my number. So if I see, like, 1 crow, usually I kind of use some, like, skepticism of, like, maybe that's not the sign.
Yeah,
but if I see 3 crows, then I'm like, okay, I'm meant to, like, look into what this crow is trying to tell me.
Right.
So you could ask for clarification, but also along the lines of that, I've noticed Spirit loves to do this, where they'll show you something, but you're not meant to know yet. So they're showing it to you, and even if you ask for clarification, they cannot give you the message. You're just meant to see it for now.
Yeah. They'll just show you what you need to know at the moment.
Yeah.
And even readers, like if you go and try to figure it out, and if we're like, oh, we can't tell you. You know, Spirit said that's locked. We will see that very loud and clear. So, yeah. We went to the Sonic Rejuvenation Sound Bath Retreat. That was really fun. We met a lot of new people there that are in the community of sound healing and just like spiritual work in general, which was awesome, because the more that we can also meet others, like-minded individuals, we can grow the community, spread awareness and consciousness on the planet. So
yes. I feel like the people we got drawn to there too were like perfect for us.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it was really fun. It was a beautiful time.
Yeah. It was all day long. We did like a few different meditations. We did a cacao ceremony. We did the sound bath.
Yes.
We did the mandalas. Yeah, I liked this way more than the drumming circle we went to, because I feel like the community was like, it felt built already, but like they were so like
they were open.
Yeah.
Very willing to just like connect and bond. Did you learn anything from that about yourself, about?
I did. I was actually like, since I do like lots of energy work, I went there dressed in the colors of the chakras I already knew I had to work on.
That was so
and
fun.
I like, whenever like you're doing spiritual work, like I kind of always question, I feel like that's the scientist in me. I'm always like, is this person legit? And when they did the what was it called? The
Biofield tuning.
Yes.
With the tuning forks.
Yes.
By Sandra Kuchik or something, Sarah Kuchik, something like that.
Yes, when they did that, that was like confirmation for me, because she went up and down my body. The two chakras I was dressed as, and the ones that I know are like, I have some issues right now, those were the exact two she pointed out. And she got like what time like in my life that I had trauma, like literally to the year. I was like kind of shook. So I learned a lot about that, but also like, you know, I do lots of like sound cleansing, but for some reason, whatever instruments they were using, like the forks and the bowls, like I could feel like the physical pain in the chakras when things were getting released. Yeah. So kind of, I feel like it's so hard to explain like my energy healing technique, because it's so based on feeling. So like, I feel like when I tap in, I have this certain feeling that I like know how to get to. Like I know what I'm looking for, like what to feel. So it's usually like some sort of like movement, whatever, of like cleansing. This taught me like to feel kind of the pain of it and then release it downwards. Nice. Yeah, so I feel like it kind of evolved my technique a little bit too.
Nice. Ooh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we had so much fun. For me, the one thing that sticks out, I just thought it was really interesting. I actually dressed like all blue. And when we went there, we had a circle with cushions on there, and they had one cushion that was blue colored. And funnily, I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit on that one. And it was like, it was meant to be. And I originally wasn't gonna wear blue, but something was like, let's wear all blue. And my intention, do you remember? I was like, well, I wanna come out with music. I do light language. It is a little woo-woo, but you know, I want to work on my throat chakra and heal that wound of being heard or feeling like I'm not being heard. And then it's crazy, because as I was saying that, somebody walked in, and she didn't speak much English, but she walked in, and the host actually, I felt like, stopped the circle, and when it was at my turn, he kind of like let her in, and then he did this whole thing where like, he was like, okay, we gotta smudge and cleanse you now, and I kind of felt like I had to rush what I had to say, and so, and then do you remember after he was like, oh, can you switch with her?
Yes.
Dude, and he made me get up and switch seats with her, and I'm like, okay, this is totally fine, but I just thought it was very interesting how I'm speaking about being heard, and then the host kind of like didn't let me be heard almost, or like, or hold the space, because because of the awareness that we hold, right, in this circle, that I would think like it would be like, okay, let's finish, and because she was like 20 minutes late, right, which is fine. But then the part that was interesting at the end, well, when I got my biofield tuning, for me it was the throat chakra. Yeah. And then also the solar plexus. So it's like courage, willpower, and she said like, you feel like you aren't being heard when you're speaking. And I'm like, very interesting, because it's interesting for my work. I do a lot of speaking, but I do feel like sometimes I'm not being heard, because I feel like the content that comes out of me is very triggering. And I feel like people don't want to necessarily hear it. Yeah. Because I do hold a very high morality, ethic, degree baseline. And so I hold other people to that as well, for the most part, with love. But I feel like that's why maybe people don't want to hear me subconsciously. And I get it. I fucking get it. But let me just fucking get it out, because it needs to be said, because it's for your highest good. And I'm not saying it from a place of ego or anything like that. It's literally the divine truth that is flowing through me in this moment. So I get it. So the fact that he did that was very interesting, and the fact that the biofield tuning also confirmed that was interesting. And then at the end, they were like, oh, you guys, we're going to pass around the talking stick, and you can say a couple words, or you don't have to say any. I actually decided I'm not going to say anything, which I thought was interesting, because I'm like, well, I should want to be heard, right? But I was like, I don't really want to, because after that, I was like so relaxed, and also didn't want to.
Yeah.
But instead, I decided to do light language. Did you hear?
I did, yeah. No, I loved that.
Yeah, it felt more me. It felt comfortable to do so.
I felt like that was what needed to be said, though.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you know what's crazy? Jay, at the end, the host, he stopped me and he was like, hey, what language are you speaking? And I was like, if you would have listened, I already said what it was. But I was like, it's light language. And then he was like, oh, yeah. But I was like, dude, I said it, you know? So I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, oh, he's bad or anything from it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was an interesting lesson for me. And maybe if it was before, when I wasn't as in a state of confidence with myself, like I might be like, what the heck, right? But now I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And I don't know if you know, but I danced with that woman at the end, and we had such a good time, and I kind of felt like I alchemized whatever tension there was, because I'm human too, you know. I'm like, we should do my seat, like, and then he was like, oh, can you move down, because you just finished and now it's her turn. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, you know.
The dancing portion, magnifique.
So fun. So fun. Really got to shake and let it loose.
Yes.
That was so fun. So
I was doing my energy healing technique while I was dancing, which I know I've told you this before. I usually don't do that in like public or with other people watching, because like it could be kind of like interesting to watch, I guess. Like it doesn't look like normal.
Oh, maybe
like, it's not cute dancing.
Maybe I've been to, you know, other ecstatic dances where people are just on floors and doing back bends and stuff. So to me, it was like, it was fine. We were vibing.
Yeah. But I was doing my energy healing, all like, I've been really connecting with jellyfish recently. I almost did like a jellyfish like stamp on my face somewhere, but I was like, I feel like that might look like if I just had like a jellyfish on my cheek, they'd be like, what?
That's funny.
But yeah, that event was amazing. So I can't wait till
they have another one coming up later on if you want to go.
Yes.
In May.
Yeah. I really liked the group.
Yeah. So maybe we can go in May.
And then we have our combined event.
Yes.
We settled we're going to do it May 4th now, guys. We have
May the 4th be with
five
you.
slots
4th be with you.
open.
Yes.
So it's going to be like about an hour, give or take a few minutes, because we do need to reset a little bit in between clients.
About 50 minutes.
Yes, but it's going to be a combined experience of my gifts and Christine's gifts, and Christine's gifts and my gifts.
Yes. We're going to do a whole like 3-part integrative series, getting really in the nitty gritty based on whatever our client comes to us with, but with the intention of activating the inner goddess within and the fire within, so that they may go on their journey with all the right tools, feeling activated, aligned, and awakened.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So that'll be pretty soon, 1 month from today.
Yes, very excited about that.
Yeah, so we will be taking content for my channel and also for this channel.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.
Yes, for sure. And then we do, this is like a little bit further in the future, but on June 7th, we also got a booth at the Paranormal Convention.
In Chicago. Come through, come see
yes.
us.
That video was actually just posted on Channeling Chavez, my little interview there.
Maybe we can link it in the description.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, we have lots in the works, guys. So...
Woo, yes, I know. And this is only like the real like first year that we've had this, and we've already had so many exciting things.
It's been since January. It's been a few months, girl.
It's been amazing. We have our trips planned and things like that.
We've both been working our butts off, guys.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And I don't see it slowing down, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But
we love it.
Yeah, I'm good with that
we
shit.
love it.
Let's go. Let's bring it. Let's do it. Well, we're going to have dinner with me and my girlies, and me and Leah, too. Maybe we'll get a little footage of that and get Beck on here. Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I do have Nail Psychic Christine has a paint and smoke, psychic paint and smoke coming up on 4/13. That's going to be hosted here, and it's for a specific call being sent out to our girlies who are witchy, who have the magic within them, the high priestess. And so we are getting together and you know what's crazy? I went to go golf at the range with my boyfriend. I usually go golf too, but I didn't bring my bag and I brought my book instead. And I met a girl there. Oh, and she's coming.
Ooh, hell yeah. Love that. Love that. Love it.
So, yeah. So I'm excited. We have a really nice mix of girls, all different ages. So it's going to be really interesting. And I have a lot of fun events planned that Leo will be assisting me with. So, yes, stay tuned for that as well. We'll take content on that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. And we will see you next time.
Yes, and go on our other channels, show us some love, because we just made that as well. Yes, until next time, episode 6 later.
Yes, girl. Ready?
What is this?